Well, here we are again, folks, and it looks like we're having some difficulty with a number of news outlets reporting today that Javi Gracia is having is gonna have some difficulties getting the required work permit permissions for his role down at Elland Road as the manager of our great club, and unfortunately, as someone who knows a little bit about trying to get any kind of visa out of the British government, I can promise you it is not going to be a straightforward process, and a lot of the stuff that I've read today kind of backs that up, that it's post-Brexit, all these post-Brexit rules that we have are now making it very difficult for Europeans to come to Britain and conduct work, conduct business, conduct any sort of business in the UK. So it literally beggars belief. I'll give you a little example of that. Before Christmas, my wife and I, she's non-British, were told to get a tourist visa. Would have been it would have taken 7 weeks to process that, and a tourist visa for 2 years, I think, was nearly £400. So we paid that, and then they also said something like, but if you pay another couple £100, actually it's about £300, then we can process that said visa within a week. So these are the things that the club are going to have to overcome, trying to get this guy a visa. Until that point, whilst he and the team are in the UK, he's not able to work with them. So I understand that apparently that they may have gone to Spain or somewhere else where they're able to work together free of any restrictions. And it's like anything else, isn't it? You leading the horse to water, and Leeds sound like they've managed to circumvent or come up with an idea that these visas, it's going to take way too long for them to process. Now I don't want to get into any kind of, oh god, hold on a minute, what's happened there? Stand by while we just figure out what's happened. Yeah, are we back? Have we lost the stream? I don't think we have lost. Are we back? We're just waiting on. It seems to have frozen completely. So, right, are we back? Let's try. Right, stand by while we have some problems here. Just give me a second. I've knocked something. I've knocked a cable. Stand by while we. What a pain. Let's try that again. Right, hello. Hello, are we there? Okay. Right, are we back? Let's just have a test. Are we back? Are we back? Yes, we're back. What a nightmare. Are we back? Yes, thank God. Yes, we're back. Right, so as I was saying, I'll just restart all of that. What I was just saying there. This business with Javier Gracia's work permit is going to be a little bit of a nightmare for the club. I'm someone who's had to deal with the government on not work permits, but tourist visas, which is almost the same thing. It's just a level down. Getting these things through can be a real pain for a private individual. It's not going to be any easier for an employer either. Trust me, because they're now making it so restrictive about having people come to the UK to work that getting these things done is not easy. Also, with you know what's going to happen. There's going to be a lot of mumbo jumbo about the strikes causing problems, pay disputes causing problems, delays in process. Believe it or not, when we were processing or my wife's tourist visa to the UK, it was a 2-year tourist visa. They told us that it could take up to 7 weeks, and the reason that they gave, get this, COVID-19 was number one. The other reason was, the processing unit is centrally located in China. Yes, we're not in China. We're in Indonesia. So at the moment, which is a real pain. Anyhow, the whole system for things like this is utterly broken. It is a complete shambles, and I really hope that Victor and Rads have the inside contacts or have someone who can get this thing processed for us, because at the moment it's looking incredibly likely that he's not going to be on the bench for us on Saturday, and possibly uh, for a little while even after that, because they're going to be waiting for all of this stuff to go through. And it sounds like the FA or the governing body have to be approached by I think it's the Home Office that issues these, and they're going to be talking about and having a committee meeting, having a panel meeting. I've had a read at some of the press today, and I'm not kidding. I was just sat there like it's the whole headache all over again. It really is. I'll just tell you a little bit about what has been said about this process. And it says Garcia blocked from taking training as the new club Leeds with post-Brexit rules requiring Spaniards, not just Spaniards, Europeans, I imagine this, a work permit to be approved by a special panel. With uncertainty over whether he'll be in the dugout for the Crunch Southampton clash. That's a really badly worded thing, isn't it? But anyway, some of these papers are a total disgrace, what they write. And it says that it's been announced as the new Leeds manager, but I think we're just waiting for Leeds press conference. And apparently, he can't even do a press conference because that could be deemed as work, as part of the manager's remit. And it is actually in the contract that when they sign, they must do a press briefing before a game, and when required after a game. So because it's in the employment contract, and that's stipulated, I think, by the FA, it then gets classified as work. So if you're wondering why we haven't heard a press conference from the club yet with him in it, that is the primary reason. It says he's going to have to be granted the governing body endorsement by the FA, which requires foreign managers to have worked in a top league for at least 36 months or 2 years consecutively in the past 5 years. Now, apparently, Gracia doesn't qualify under either of those rules, which is why this is going to have to go to a special panel hearing. For a laugh, I'll show you just what it's like to try and even get or entertain the British government over a visa, and we'll try and apply for one just for the laugh. We'll try and get one done online. I honestly don't know where this is going. I really don't. I hope that, like everybody else, it gets resolved, because it's just another headache that seems to have hit the club at the moment. Apparently, we've got 2 more injuries, and apparently the squad are down in Spain. Firpo's injured, and Bamford is also injured. That's some of the reports coming out that I've come across today. His case is likely to have to go through an exceptions panel, which could delay the process. I'm not kidding. It literally could take weeks, could this? And they're going to have to, a few £100 to Orta and Rosani isn't a big deal. But it honestly is it could take a long time otherwise. It really is that much of a utter pain to even try and get a tourist visa to go to the UK at the moment. And apparently the stories that I'm hearing from Europeans, friends in Europe, friends in other parts of the world, it isn't getting any easier, and they have no intention of making it easy to get to the UK. But a lot of jokers have been around on Facebook, and they've said, well, he should have just come across in a dinghy that had given him a 5-star hotel and a Rolls Royce. And this is perhaps why these poor people down in Dover are having such a terrible time having to deal with these boats coming in, because it's so bloody hard to get a visa for the UK that people, when given a choice, they either go for the easy choice or the easy option or the hard option. And to them, risking their life going across a 23-mile stretch of water in a dinghy with about 50 other people is an easy choice. And they risk everything for it, and hats off to them. They're escaping all sorts of crimes and all sorts of really bad stuff that's happening in their home country. Quite often, some of it's being perpetrated by the West, depending on where they're coming from. You also have thrown in there economic migrants and refugees, and it's important to distinguish between the two. But anyway, let's stick with Gracia. The 3-person panel. Let's hope that we have a couple of non-biased people on that panel. Let's hope Sean Dyche isn't on that panel. Let's hope that the Southampton manager isn't on that panel, and anybody else who doesn't like Leeds is on that panel. Isn't on that panel, should I say. Must decide whether the manager is of the highest calibre. Yeah, this is the kind of language that they use, and is able to contribute significantly to the development of the game at the top level in England. Now, you know as well as I know, and other people have mentioned this, how is it Man United can get a permit for Ten Hag like that? How is it all these other clubs can get other European managers in? It's not a problem. Leeds United, on the other hand, oh no, we're going to have a load of problems with this. We're going to have to send him on a committee meeting. It honestly defies belief, and it makes perfect sense that a lot of Leeds United fans are totally disillusioned by the whole FA, totally disillusioned by the whole system. And I was speaking to a friend of mine who's a Man City fan, and he when their news broke about the European Super League last year, and I said to him, I wouldn't be surprised if the clubs actually did that, because they're fed up of the prattling on and the interference coming from the government and coming from the FA, about how to run the club, how to do this, how to do that. But you see, other businesses, whatever your profession, will tell you exactly the same thing, that we have to follow the government rules and regulations. And the trouble is these people 650 of them. Quite often they're, yes, all right, they're elected, uh, and quite often they're in Parliament when they can be bothered to turn up, or they show up for important pieces of legislation. If you knew the workings and the inner goings on of that place, Westminster, um, you'd be surprised at how anything ever gets done. But suddenly we have this, all this COVID nonsense, and suddenly everything else can get swept under the carpet, and we have all these crazy regulations and stuff coming in. So it doesn't make any sense to people. It doesn't make any sense to a lot of people. It says it is almost certain the panel will vote in Gracia's favour and grant him a GBE, given his previous success with Watford, who he took to the 2019 FA Cup final. If you want to stop by, you've got any comments on this, by the way, let me know. I do try and reply to the comments. It might take me a little while, depending on where you are and time differences and stuff. But again, if you appreciate the content and you want to see more things Leeds United, it's not red anymore, but maybe I need a new subscribe pillow. Anyway, I'll get one made. But whether he can obtain it in time for Saturday, there's no chance. There's absolutely no chance he's going to get this permit and these bits of paper through in time for Southampton's game. I would hasten to say that, this could be be warned, this could be a lengthy process. It is not easy, and getting hold of the right people is very, very difficult to get this kind of thing done. So let's just hope that Leeds manage to get it done in a legal way that's not going to cause us any trouble. We're already in trouble, a bit of hot water with the FA. We definitely don't want any more. For Saturday against Southampton, depends on how quickly the FA can convene a panel and resolve the matter. This doesn't just it doesn't just depend on the FA either. It depends on the issuing office of the visas. The FA won't issue those visas. There's no way. It'll be a government agency that does it. It's usually, I think I'm right in saying it could be the Home Office that would do something like that. It's the same people who pretty much issue the passports. So it really is a total shambles of a job at the moment. I hope that the team are preparing accordingly and that we've got measures in place to try and make sure that they are carrying out the manager's instructions when it comes to the big day. If you have it's actually it's not the passport office that issue this kind of thing. I'll soon tell you when I can find it. But anyway, who cares? All we care about is whoever's responsible for issuing it, please issue it as soon as possible. We are a club in crisis, and we definitely need a pair of experienced hands sat in the dugout guiding the team along on Saturday against Southampton. This certainly is adding more twists and drama to the Southampton watch along when it eventually comes. When it comes round on Saturday. If you have any score predictions, I'm going to make a YouTube short later on. Drop them in there. You might want to drop them in the comments box of this live stream as well. Feel free to do that. No problem. Gracia met staff and players at Leeds' Thorpe Arch training ground on Tuesday, but was prevented from taking training or even doing any media for the club's website. If you followed my last live stream, you will know that work permit issues were mentioned, and I said that this is all subject to a work permit. I imagine gone are the days where a European could just walk straight into a job without very much or any paper to be filled out, without any interference or any forms, and let's not get too much into Brexit, but certainly leaving the European Union has caused a lot of trouble for this particular managerial appointment. These rules apparently, I think I'm told that they were brought in January, and there's a specific that, like I said, there's a specific set of rules about uh, what a manager or what qualifies a football manager to manage in the English Premier League. And I said that earlier on. Now, imagine if you're a new manager with 2, 3, maybe 4 years experience. Does that mean you're not going to get a work permit? Or imagine that you've not won anything as a European manager and you're coming in. It's no good, is it? I mean, this guy's taken a team to the FA Cup final, which is a huge achievement in itself. I don't think any Leeds fan would be complaining if he could do that with us. And he took us to the FA Cup final. I mean, we're talking about a day out down at Wembley, guys. You know, it's not gonna. It's gonna be a great day. I mean, if that happens, I'm gonna have to terminate my work and fly home. The thought of watching Leeds United is at Wembley in an FA Cup final is a once in a lifetime opportunity. I definitely haven't had that pleasure in the past, and I would certainly love to see it happen at some point in the future. If you have any issues or any questions with this live stream, of course, drop a comment, drop a like, drop whatever you like in the comments box there, and I will certainly do my best to reply to you. And we're just gonna go on and see what the rest of this says. Training this week has therefore again been led by the Whites caretaker coaching team of Scabala, Gallardo, and Armas, who will have to take charge against the Saints should Gracia not be cleared in time. Yeah, we could be still with Scabala on Saturday. So, I mean, I hope that these two guys are talking. I imagine they probably are. And the work permit is a serious matter. You know, imagine that if he's doing any kind of coaching or training or discussion with the team, he could end up on the wrong side of the law. Even a meeting. I mean, they've not done a press conference. And what constitutes work? You know, what does actually constitute work? And we need to be really, really careful here. And I hope that Leeds are getting the right legal advice. Work is an activity involving mental or physical effort done in order to achieve a purpose or result. A task or tasks to be undertaken by a person or thing has to do. To be engaged in a physical or mental activity in order to achieve a result or to do work. Good. Machine or system to operate a function, especially properly and effectively. It really is the definition of work. I don't know if any of you have seen it, but it's a very, very long one. And we need to be very, very careful. Obviously, we're not breaking any visa rules before this guy actually takes up his post, and we certainly don't want it to happen that, you know, oh well, we can't give him a visa because you've already broken the visa laws, blah 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 blah. I imagine that the club are going to have to be sending representatives to meet him, but then again, that's a meeting, isn't it? You know, what constitutes work under this particular situation? And I think, depending on how strict they are at upholding it to the letter of the law, which I think they probably are, in my experience, getting one of these permits or getting a visa through from the British government is no easy task. Let me assure you, the forms that they have you filling out, they could take hours to sift through them. I think the last time I saw a tourist visa form, it was about 52 pages long. And you have to read the whole thing, because if you don't and you cock it up, you're putting yourself at risk. of getting turned down. Let's have a look, shall we? Let's put an application in for. Let's pretend I'm a football manager. What's my? Well, I mean, I could be Spanish, couldn't I? It doesn't really matter, does it? It's just a bit of a laugh. Yes, I'm from Spain. Okay, continue. So this is what you do. You go to gov.uk. Well, of course, we're not getting married. We don't want any of that medical treatment for official including transit through the UK. I thought diplomats would just literally waltz in and waltz out whenever they want, but apparently it looks like they're having to give visas now for diplomats. Which, anyway, that's a totally different matter altogether, isn't it? I did see this earlier. Work, academic, or visit business. But yeah, I think that's the best answer. Okay. Well, this is a good question, isn't it, Javi? 6 months or less, or more than 6 months? Let's say more than 6 months. Well, of course, I'm a professional sports person. That's the best thing to do. Football manager. Here we go. I don't know if you've ever read this, but it'll certainly make for some good reading. I had a look at a flick through this before, but I didn't go all the way today. Now we're going to go all the way. International sports person visa. If you're an elite sports person or coach, you may be entitled to work as an elite sports person or coach. You must be internationally established at the highest level of your sport, be endorsed by your sport's governing body. I mean, this is the thing, isn't it? Is he endorsed by the Spanish FA? I don't know. Need a job offer? Yes. Need a minimum salary? No. I mean, Victor, you could get me. I'll charge you next to no. I'll happily go to Ellen Road and do a bit of coaching. Need knowledge of English? Yes, with exceptions. Initial visa length up to 3 years. If you're applying to stay longer than 12 months, you must usually prove that you can speak and understand it, of course. Can extend? Yes, it's extendable. Can settle? You can settle after 5 years if you've had any grant of international sports person permission for longer than 1 year. Settling means you can live permanently in the UK. If you successfully apply, you can use this status for citizenship. Right, so there we go. Right, is that the easy bit? What next? All right, here we go. Yeah. Yes. Okay. So that's really it by the look of it. Now, later on, there's going to be like a find out more about it. Yeah. Okay. Let's have a look. Eligibility. Yes, well, we know a bit about that. If you're from the EU, Switzerland, Norway, Iceland, or Liechtenstein, if your family members started living in the UK by 31st of December 2020, you may be a free EU settlement scheme. So there are other ways of them getting into the UK. Your sponsor is your employer. They'll give you a certificate of sponsorship to prove they are sponsoring you. One assumes that someone's taking care of this kind of thing for Javi, whatever it is, right? As part of your application, you need to prove your identity. Yes, you're ready to allow extra time if you need an appointment to do this. Okay, yes. Once getting a decision. Once you've applied online, proved your identity, and provided your documents, you'll usually get a decision on your visa within 3 weeks if you're outside the UK. 8 weeks if you're inside the UK. I wasn't joking. This stuff takes a long time, quite a bit of money to sort out, and it's like anything else with government departments. If the more you pay, the quicker things will happen. It really is that corrupt. I mean, it really is that way. Your partner and children will each need to pay the application fee. Pay the healthcare surcharge, which is usually £624 a year. You could check how much you'll have to pay. Prove you have enough personal savings. Check out how. I think he's got plenty of brass in the bank, this guy, so I don't think he needs to worry. But Javi or Rads or Victor, if you want, any more help with this, I could be a man. All right. We could talk about money and all that nonsense later down the line, and a house up at Thorpe or something like that. If there's any going spare. If you're staying up to 12 months, the fee is £259 a person. If you're staying longer than 12 months, it depends on whether you are applying outside the UK, inside the UK to extend, or a switch. So he's getting a bit of a discount because I think he's been in the UK. I don't know if they're still there or not. 3 years, 5 years. What you cannot do, you can work for your sponsor in the job described in the certificate of sponsorship. Do a second job in certain circumstances. Play for your national team in the UK. Work as a sports broadcaster. Do voluntary work. Study as long as it does not interfere with the job you're sponsored for. Travel abroad and return to the UK. Bring your partner and children with you as dependents if they're eligible. You cannot get public funds, start a business, apply for a second job until you've started working for your sponsor. Next. Eligibility. So there's more eligibility, more stuff there. Money to support you. So he needs, I hope he's got 1,200 quid in the bank. he's probably earned that today, hasn't he? And actually, that raises another point, doesn't it? Are they actually paying him? Are they paying him and he's not got a work visa organised? I mean, if that's quite a common practice where I am at the moment. If you can still get paid even if you don't have a visa. I don't really think you're supposed to do, but how is anyone else supposed to live? Especially if you travel, if you're working with a family and all that stuff. Knowledge of English. Yes, documents. What documents does he need? I mean, this is a bit of fun, is this? Documents he'll need. Evidence that you have enough savings. Yes, passport. Expired passports or travel documents if you need to show your travel history. Well, I mean, what were you doing in the Middle East, Mr. Garcia? Well, of course. Coaching a Qatari team. His identity. How are we going to find all of that? Right, now we've read all of that jazz, you could apply now. All he has to do is apply now, or someone down at Elland Road has to do this for him. I mean, they could get me to do it for them. They don't need any fancy lawyers. You just do it online. You just do it online, mate. No need for the lawyer anymore. Just do it online. No problem. This is all the lawyer will be doing anyway, because that's the way that these things are done now by the British government. You can see how long it actually takes to get this thing loaded up. I just apply to visit or stay in the UK.homeoffice.gov.uk. England, Scotland or Wales. Yes. My name, Javi Gracia. You know what? I better be a bit careful here because I don't want to submit an application in his name, and then somebody turns around and say, "Oh, hang on a minute, we've got 2 applications for you. So which one's correct?" Yes, don't worry about that. They could use an app. Yeah, you can if you do not have a phone. Yeah, let's pretend he doesn't have a phone. Just continue. We don't care. I'm not adding his name or anything like that to it. But this is part. I'm just showing you what the process is because honestly, this is an absolute pain of a job. Is this for the tourist visa? It's a pain. What it must be like for a professional sports person, it must be horrendous. I mean, he'll have no idea that this stuff is going on in the background, and that Leeds are having to get this stuff organised. But you can see how long it's taken me to even load it, and I've got nearly 300 Mbps download speed. Right, phone number, date of birth, email address, blah blah blah. Who could create an account? Yeah, we're not going to do that. Sign in, etc. Now, once you get beyond this, I'm going to stop it there. Once you get beyond this, there's going to be a whole raft of other stuff that he's got to answer, or that you've got to answer. When we did it, what they made us do was, and I kid you not, they made us print it out. The whole form is 50 odd pages long, and then you have to book an appointment in an office. Now, overseas, it's the VFS office. In the UK, it could be done probably at the Home Office or one of the passport offices. Then what they do is they book you an appointment. So, I mean, we all know about the strikes and the government workers and how fed up they are and how poorly paid they all are and all the rest of it. And apologies if that sounds like you, and I hope you get a pay increase, and I hope that it's an adequate and a fair pay increase, and that it covers your heating bill for the winter. Because honestly, right now what's happening in the UK is horrendous. It is absolutely horrendous. And anybody who's working for this government, I don't know, you have my admiration, sympathy, and everything else in between, because it can't be easy for you. It really can't. It's not easy at all. Anyway, moving back to it, this process, it goes on. So once you've done your appointment, there's going to be an interview. This one is going to be FA panel, so it's going to be 3 people. We don't have any idea who that is. One would assume that it's 3 people who are involved heavily in the game, or have been involved heavily in the game, and they will carry out, I assume, some kind of standard questions set for him. He either meets that criteria or doesn't meet that criteria. Then the FA will... they're not going to make an instant decision on this. They're not going to make an instant decision. They're not going to say, "Oh, just give us an hour and we'll have a decision for you." Oh, no. It could go on for a few extra days. Could that? Then they'll come back with a decision to him. That might well be done over the post. I highly doubt they'll send a decision by email. It's usually, because it's a secure. They have to have it secure. It usually is in person or by mail. That could take another few extra days. I think this could drag on for 3 weeks. And don't be surprised if that happens, because it really is a tedious, drawn-out process, is this. For us professional sports person, it's going to be a lot harder than a normal tourist, because obviously they're talking about salaries, tax, everything else, and of course the government are going to be very interested in his income and salary, and interested in how much tax is he likely to generate with this job. And what happens is, if they throw it out, I mean, if they throw this out and they reject this guy, what recourse does Leeds United have against the FA? One would assume that it has to go to arbitration, and the FA and Leeds United will get locked into an arbitration. But I don't see it going that way. But I always look at things worst case scenario, and worst case scenario is it goes to arbitration, and arbitration agree with the FA now. We don't want him managing in the Premier League, and he can get on his plane and bugger off back to Spain or wherever he came from. It really is. It's totally up in the air. Is this? It really is up in the air. And it might explain why he was one of the first, apparently, to be approached for the role. But they also took the time and looked at some other options, and then they've gone back to him. So I mean, they must be confident that they can get this paper, get it over the line, and get this guy installed pretty quickly. Gracia. I mean, uh, Leeds fans must be. In fact, I'm not going to speculate. I'm going to look for some facts because I've been reading online today about a lot of what you've had to say. And look, if you want a real shout out, join me on my channel, and I'll feature your name, talk about what you've said, talk to you. I might even invite you onto my live stream, and if you want to have a discussion about Leeds United, perhaps you want to vent, perhaps all of this stuff is utterly stressing you out. Perhaps you're getting fed up of Orta, perhaps you're getting fed up of Rads, and perhaps you're just wanting a bit of a vent. And I don't mind that kind of thing to be going on my channel. I think it certainly adds to the content. People probably get a bit fed up of me rambling on, and they probably sat there, oh, you just like listening to your own voice, mate. No, I can assure you, I don't. I'm not a fan of that. Palm Sports Bar has the game on, and that's somewhere down in Spain. It's Tenerife. So if you're down in Tenerife, I do get viewers from all over the world, by the way. Ireland, Australia, United States, mostly the UK, but some other countries as well. Spain, I've had a couple of viewers from Spain, so yeah. It really is a global thing is YouTube, and that's why I love it, and I love talking about Leeds United, and I love seeing what's going on and talking about it. But according to what some of you guys have said about this, and it is going around on YouTube quite a lot at the moment, that Leeds are struggling, or we're going to struggle to get this guy for us, and I think we're going to be we might still be managerless. Mohammed Hisham says we might still be managerless for yet another crucial 6-pointer. What a circus, lol. And then somebody says here, Rodney, can he take training during the week and not sit in the dugout on match day? No, he can't, mate, because it's work. That's work. You need a work permit to do the work. Unless he does it with no pay, it's still work. You can't volunteer. You can't even do voluntary work on a tourist visa. And I've just talked to you there about it. Stop believing the BS. He will get the work permit tomorrow, says David Dakin. David, I don't know how you know that, but if you do, and if you've got some kind of inside source in the Home Office, passport, whatever they are, someone who's got a bit of clout, and you have that information, I hope you're right. I really do hope you're right. And in other news, when you sign a player subject to their passing a medical, you have to wait until they've passed their medical. Yeah. Well, of course. Before you can play, I don't believe there is anything to stop him giving advice for free. No, yeah, there is, I'm afraid, Mick. It's even voluntary work is not is banned on a tourist visa, and like I say, he has to get permission from the club. But not only the club, but the FA have to sanction his employment, whether he's officially there managing or not. He will definitely be implementing everything to staff on how and what he wants to play. The work permit issue would have been known by Scubbs and his promoted. And I mean, Scabala's not going to be forced to know too much about work permits, I don't think. I would think he would still pick the team and play his way. Not an ideal way, is it? Don't worry, there will be over 35,000 supporters shouting the instructions. I'm just glad Don Revy is in the frame to take over. not, I'm not joking. What a joke. You lot, what are you like on this Facebook group? He can still be in the stadium, can't he? Can he use a mobile communication? No, he can't. He can't, because it then gets classified as work, doesn't it? We've already talked about that. I mean, he shouldn't. He shouldn't, and he's advised not to. And do you want to risk Leeds getting this work permit thrown out because he's broken the conditions of a work permit before he's even got it? He may not be on the pitch on Saturday, or he would take training. However, he will be his way, or how we start to play the match. MOT. It makes you wonder who is running the club. It's absolutely scandalous that this is allowed to happen, and we've become a laughing stock. Neville, I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. Neville Williams. Only Leeds get this incompetent, delusional board every time. I have worked in the law for 40 years. I can't believe the board have this in place. You are making us Leeds United supporters laughable. Let's get behind Leeds United. I hope so. Just out of curiosity, how many of you think will stay at? Well, we're not trying to answer that one in this. Can Gracia still take training at Thorpe Arch until he gets up? No, he can't. He shouldn't even be meeting the players. He shouldn't even be meeting the players. And, I mean, I don't think this work permit's being blocked. I would rather use a word to say, like, referred. It's been rejected. Now, don't believe everything that you read in the press. They're always going to, especially some of these outlets, they're going to try and sensationalize it, make things a lot worse than what they actually are. And why does he say it was blocked? In fact, it's fairly straightforward. He seems to have. He might have to work for free for a while. No, he's not going to work. You can't work for free. It's a work permit. Whether it's free or not free, it would then be classed as volunteering. And you can't even do volunteering on a tourist visa, so he's not going to get it, I'm afraid. I doubt it. Unfortunately, he can't. There you go. If he did, he's broke his visa and would be deported. Stupid, but that's the rules. Stops people forcing vulnerable people to work for free. That's exactly why they have the rules. Nino Fusco, I agree with your comment there, Nino. Brexit, however, we still got vaccinated like the most of Europe. Cryptic clue, get a dinghy. Somebody, Liam Cooper. I mean, I don't think this is the Liam Cooper, but anyway. Jesus, after the sacking of Marsh, correct decision, but late. Then we're refused about our first four preferences. We then appoint a manager who can't effing work for us. This is Laurel and Hardy stuff, Liam Cooper, bang on. No, the FA won't allow it. No, he's not allowed to work until he gets clearance. This could be a problem, as it can take 2 weeks to sort out post-Brexit. Yes, Declan. I mean, in my opinion of this kind of thing, in my experience, even just getting a tourist visa, like I said, it could take up to 7 weeks. And that's just for a tourist. And that's if you're not paying the extra 300 quid for the, what did they call it? Fast track service. And now, for anybody who's not sure, all of this stuff is outsourced to a company called VFS outside the UK. And they handle it on the government's behalf. And it is, honestly, it is so tiresome. It is so burdensome. My wife has a visa, a tourist visa. When she comes over to the UK with me, she doesn't do any work. She's just here for pleasure. I give plenty of pleasure. I can't say that on this street. Can take training if he's not being paid. No. Think he needs a work permit first. Take training by Zoom until the work permit comes. No. Still, it's work. Whether it or if he does do that, he needs to be outside the UK and nobody needs to know about it. If it gets reported, and if there is a bit of toxicity in the Elland Road dressing room and ranks, and he gets reported for doing something like that, he's going to put the whole process at risk. It is not a joke, isn't this stuff? It is a pain in the backside to sort out. And we might end up in 3 weeks' time, and the hunt for a new manager starts again. That's how bad it is. That is how bad it is. I hope that doesn't happen. Hands up who voted for Brexit. No, simply put. Is he doing the double? Not until he gets a work permit. I've got a fishing permit he can use. Can we just sneak him into the training ground in the laundry basket? Did he come over on a dinghy from Dover? I think he means to Dover. Because you're coming from Calais, aren't you? Keep it hush hush and we'll get away with it. It took the FA years to catch up to Man City. Brexit's still a good. Here we go. The Brexit brigade are on again. It's countless comments for this. Javi Gracia first 3 away games. The West Yorkshire Football Show. I don't know what that is. Amazon Prime will swap for a season ticket for the rest of the season. I mean, I don't know anything about this stuff. I'm not really into it. All I know is something to do with Jake Paul, KSI, and Logan Paul. They don't own Prime. It's all sub-manufactured and stuff like that by somebody else. A lot said about him, a lot of positive things. Please be aware I was scammed for 2 tickets Saturday's game. I was lucky to get my money back from PayPal. He's given me 3 fake names. Kelly, LUFC, Johnny, Christopher Lambert, Barry Starr. I fell for it like an idiot, but never again. I'm sorry to hear that, Sandra. I got scammed for 100 on Monday night. Still needs reporting to the police. Yeah, I mean, you're going to get no help. The only thing you'll get is a crime number, and that's really about it. Somebody here talking about... It looks familiar, he does. Russell Stabler. He's got the cycling GK. Don't know what that is. Work permit, what's one of them? Victor, did you get as a manager that hasn't been granted a work permit? Oh, Victor. It'll be sorted by tomorrow. I don't know who keeps saying this. A couple of people say, oh, it'll be sorted by tomorrow, mate. It won't be sorted by tomorrow. I'll be so surprised. If that gets sorted tomorrow, I'd like to bet something that it doesn't get sorted out tomorrow. But I mean, I'm quite lucky because nobody's watching my stream anyway. It's literally just me watching myself talk, rambling on. It is just that bad. I'll just try and make that a little bit bigger for you guys there, in case you do. Anybody, excuse me, anybody does catch up with me a bit later. Victor can be blamed for many things. Brexit isn't one of them. Oh, for God's sake. Brexit, blame Victor. I don't believe it. A few Zoom and Google meetings, calls for training. No, bro. No. Cannot do that. He can't do even online. He shouldn't be doing it. And if he is, I mean, all of this stuff, a lot of it's swirling around in the Daily Mail, Daily Express, a couple of the other presses. But, I mean, I don't know if it's if it's been swept away by the BBC or dismissed by Sky Sports due to the death of John Motson today, or buried somewhere deep within their website. But there's nothing about it on the front home pages of BBC or Sky Sports. So we're just going on what the press and certain publications are saying. Express is one of them. Andy's looking for 2 tickets for Saturday's Southampton game. If you've got any, let him know. He's on the Leeds United supporters group. It's definitely the place to be. Mark my words, in 3 weeks we'll be shouting for the manager's head. We might not have a manager in 3 weeks, Adam. We might still be looking for it. The search for a new manager might restart. It beggars belief that we're in this situation. Time to get behind. I hope everybody gets behind Gracia, because we've been through a lot of bad stuff this season, and I think it's time to really unite. I hope you give him a big welcome when he gets to Ellen Road, and I hope more than anything else, I hope that we get three points. That's got to be target number one. That's got to be target number one, that we go out there and get 3 points. Ideally, I'd love to say we go out there and stick 4 past this lot without any reply. But judging by the Everton performance, it ain't going to happen. Unless we get, and I think that's the thing in it, early goal in it. There's a legend for you, Leeds United legend. Great quality player for us, that guy. 5 wins, 5 draws, 5 losses. That'll take us to 39 points. Winnable games: Southampton, Brighton, Forest, Palace, Leicester. Away: Wolves, Bournemouth, West Ham. Thanks for that, Pete. I hope you're right. Spare ticket for next Tuesday if anyone wants. 40 quid FV, face value. Meet you at the ground on Saturday. Sam Johnson. Gracia, not Garcia. Yes, I know I butchered his name the other night, Ryan, when I was talking about this. Gracia. Yeah, I think he's going to be all right. I think this guy, he doesn't need to find out about Premier League. He knows what it's all about. He's got vast experience compared to the other candidates. I mean, apart from Benitez, but I think the thing with Benitez was, I think he's past his best as a manager. He ain't going to do anything too good, I don't think, with what's left of his career. Ratus, twatus, penus. The evolution of the rat. It keeps him going as well as that. Yeah, I know. I thought you'd like to see that one on my page. Anyway, look, thank you so much for watching. If you're catching on catch up, the channel's doing what I consider really, really well. Quite a lot of views. And if you want any more Leeds United content, or you want to hear more from me, you want me to answer some of your questions, do a Q&A or anything like that, let me know in the comments box, and I'll certainly try and accommodate your request. I always like to have a bit of interaction. If you watch any of my other live streams, you come in and you do a bit of chat and stuff, and you'll get featured, and I'll try and respond to your comments as best as possible. But for now, I'll love you all and leave you marching on together. See you on Saturday. Let's hope that something gets sorted out before then, and we have our man in the dugout. Take care of yourselves. Do something you enjoy. Do something you love. Marching on together, and I'll see you Saturday.